Good evening and welcome. In the Sri Lankan elections, the charismatic leader of the opposition, Chandrika Kumaratunga, wins the largest number of seats and is asked to form the next government. We have a special report on the island's uncertain vote for change and the story behind the decision on who will be the next Prime Minister.
That depends on the president.
After being in power for 17 years, the ruling United National Party of Sri Lanka was defeated in the nationwide general elections held this week. Today, the president called upon the leader of the opposition alliance, the charismatic Chandrika Kumaratunga, to form the new government of which she will be the Prime Minister. Surya Gangadharan was in Sri Lanka through the last days of the elections and the announcement of the results, and reports on the desire for change among the voters in the island.
General elections in South Asia tend to follow a common, highly emotional pattern, with the people reposing their hopes and aspirations for a better life in one person. In Sri Lanka on Tuesday, there was no doubt who that person was: Chandrika Bandaranaike. For the last few weeks, the charismatic Chandrika has been the focus of media attention. When she cast her vote on Tuesday in the electoral district of Gampaha, about 40 kilometers from the capital Colombo, there was no doubt in her mind as to who was going to win.
Madam, how do you assess your chances in this election? By what margin?
That we will see.
When are you from the government?
By a very big margin.
Her confidence was not entirely misplaced. As the votes were tallied and results began trickling in on Wednesday, it soon became evident that she commanded the largest number of seats in Parliament. But the crucial two-thirds majority had eluded her. In a Parliament of 225 seats, Chandrika's People's Alliance, along with her electoral ally, the Muslim Congress, had won 112 seats. She also has the support of the Tamil United Liberation Front, which with 5 seats gives her a total of 117 seats. But still 33 seats short of a two-thirds majority. The road to this election has been a tough one, and the result has left many Sri Lankans distinctly uneasy about the future. Although the turnout at this election was one of the highest ever, nearly 80%, the result has highlighted the deep divisions within the electorate. The United National Party, which has been in power for 17 years, won 94 seats in the new parliament, proof that it still commands substantial popular support. In fact, Chandrika is unlikely to find the going easy. She is committed to changing the present French system of government with a strong executive president to a Westminster model of parliamentary democracy. But that requires a constitutional amendment, which is not possible without a two-thirds majority, a majority she doesn't have. Besides, for the first time in Sri Lanka, the Prime Minister belongs to a party different from that of the President, who ironically is the leader of the United National Party. It's a situation that has important constitutional implications.
There are many people in the People's Alliance who are asking the question as to how would it be possible for the leader of a defeated political party to chair cabinet meetings. What implications would that have for the confidentiality of cabinet proceedings, for collective responsibility?
Chandrika intends to hold unconditional talks with the Tamil militants in the north and east of the country. It could bring a bloody conflict to an end, but it could also go against her. The conflict, now in its 11th year, has embittered relations between the majority Sinhalese Buddhist population and the minority Tamils, who are mostly Hindu and Christian. Not surprisingly, there is an intense desire for peace.
There were a lot of killings and political murders under the previous government. I wanted that to change.
I voted for Mrs. Chandrika Bandaranaike.
Fed up with increasing corruption, Sri Lankans also responded to Chandrika's call for honesty in public life. In the last 17 years of rule by the United National Party, a wide gulf has arisen between the people and their representatives in Parliament. The luxurious lifestyles of UNP politicians in a poor country is constantly in the public focus.
She is also trying to counter a certain disillusionment within the people of Sri Lanka with regard to politics in general, with regard to the working of political parties, the political opportunism, the appropriation by a political elite of economic benefits and she's trying to represent a different kind of politics.
Critics have raised doubts about her ability to govern the country. Her only claim to politics is her family. Her mother, Sirimavu Bandaranaike, was Prime Minister for many years. Other than that, Chandrika has never been a member of parliament, never held a cabinet post, and according to the Sri Lankan media, has a reputation for being an administrative disaster. But Chandrika defends her reasons for joining politics.
That's a good question. There are times I ask myself why I'm doing it. Because I have absolutely no personal stake in it. I don't intend to make money and buy apple estates and castles in England and other countries. We have a very good team. Experience is not everything. We have talented people who are experienced politicians, who are honest.
After the victory will follow the celebrations. But in the months to come, Chandrika's intentions and her determination to transform these into reality will be closely tested. Continuity or change was the challenge before the people of Sri Lanka. But the real test lies ahead for the politicians of this country. Their ability to respond to the aspirations of ordinary people will decide the success or failure of what has been Sri Lanka's most crucial election. This is Surya Gangadharan in Colombo for The World This Week.
That was Surya Gangadharan reporting from Sri Lanka on a desire for change in the island.